6:13 in the morning. Cold, still dark. Probably around -40 out there now. But I haven't been outside to check. I don't want to waste another battery on the temp reader if I don't have to. Feels colder than yesterday. The walls are frosting from the inside again. I had to scrape the ice off the inside of the window just to look out a few minutes ago. Can't see anything anymore. Snow's past the second floor now. There's this thick white crust over everything, like the building's been swallowed. Just silent. Anyway, this is Isaac Evans. I'm still broadcasting from what used to be a local FM station in Albany, New York. It's day 88. No sun, no help, no contact. If you had to choose a place to hole up during the collapse, what city, state, or building would it be? Why? I don't know who's left. I don't know how many are listening. If you are, write it down. I'm broadcasting every day at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern, as long as I can keep the generator running. I'll keep this going even if I have to burn the furniture, which we're getting there. I've got a backup solar setup, but it's worthless now. No sunlight. Haven't seen a proper sky since mid-May. Just gray, endless clouds, and ice falling sideways. At night, the wind sounds like it's trying to rip the buildings in half. Some nights I hear glass breaking in the distance. Some nights I don't hear anything at all, and that's worse. I'll try to give some updates today. Keep it real. Try not to spiral. So, if you're new, if you somehow found a battery-powered radio, or maybe you got one of those old crank sets they used to hand out after hurricanes, here's what happened. At least what I think happened. It started with the poles shifting. That's what the scientists were yelling about in the beginning. Not that anyone was listening. It got buried in all the noise. Elections, gas prices, war threats. All those flashing headlines that made your head spin and didn't really tell you anything. Just breaking news after breaking news until you stopped breaking. But some of us saw it coming. Not like a prophecy or anything. Just signs. Little things. Weird sunsets. Birds migrating in the wrong directions. Fish dying off the coasts. Then the big power companies started issuing statements about satellite anomalies, positioning systems going off track, weird magnetic readings. Then we got the first deep freeze in June. It snowed in Texas in the middle of summer. California lost half its crops in a week. People joked about it, made memes, said stuff like, global warming, huh? Like they were clever. Then it didn't stop. The jet stream went nuts. Canada was buried first, then Michigan, then Ohio. It was like the ice wasn't falling from the sky, it was crawling south. Albany was hit hard in week 3. We had 6 feet of snow in 36 hours. Power went out, came back, then out again. Then the panic started. The stores emptied in 3 days. No trucks were coming in. Airports shut down. No flights. Roads were locked up with people trying to get out. But there was nowhere to go. Every direction was the same. White, cold, and death. I stayed behind. Not because I was brave or anything. I just didn't have anywhere to run. My sister was in Buffalo. Haven't heard from her since week 4. Last message I got was just, "It's bad here. Stay safe." That was it. I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment above this old station. I'd been working freelance audio gigs for years. Never really wanted to be on air. Guess that changed. When the power went out, I still had batteries. And then the signal came back for a bit, and I realized no one was talking. No one was saying what was happening. So I started. First with updates, weather, road closures, warnings, then tips, how to insulate your room, how to store heat, how to keep your water from freezing overnight. Then it became something else, a habit, a need, talk now because I have to, because I don't want to go crazy, because maybe someone's out there listening. Right now, the city is gone. It's not even a city anymore. It's a graveyard under ice. I've seen buses half buried. I've seen apartment buildings with their windows blown out, icicles hanging from ceilings. You can't dig your way out. You can't even see where the streets were. There was a fire across from me 2 nights ago. I don't know how it started, but it lit up the sky for hours. Probably a gas line. Maybe someone trying to stay warm. It didn't spread. The snow put it out before it could. But I just stood there watching the glow through the ice, wondering if someone had made it out, or if someone had given up. Anyway, today I've got a few things to share. First, the main water line's frozen completely. I tried chipping through yesterday, but there's no flow. That means if you're still here in Albany, you're gonna have to rely on snow melt or whatever you stored. Melt it slow. Don't burn through your fuel. I've been using old pots over a candle, but it's slow. Don't boil unless you really need to. You want to preserve heat, not waste it. Second, if you've got any kind of seeds, start growing indoors under whatever light you can spare. Beans, herbs, anything. Even if it's tiny. Even if it takes weeks. Every calorie matters now. I sprouted some lentils in a jar last week. Tastes like grass, but it's food, and I can keep rotating them. Microgreens are your best shot at something fresh. Third, if you're hearing this and you're alone, try to leave something outside to signal. A flag, a mark, whatever. People are moving again. Slowly. Carefully. I've seen footprints, 2 sets. Heading south. I didn't follow. Not yet. But they were fresh. We're not all gone. I had a dream last night. I was standing on a beach, and the sky was blue again. Not just pale like it used to be. Blue. Deep and open. And there were birds. So many birds I couldn't hear anything else. I don't even like birds. But it was beautiful. Then I woke up, and I was freezing again, and my fingers were numb, and the window was covered in ice. I miss heat. I miss toast. I miss the sound of traffic. I miss being annoyed by people at the grocery store. I miss dumb things. Stupid, annoying, normal things. I'd give anything to stand in a crowded line again. But I'm not giving up. We're not giving up. I don't care if this whole city gets buried under 20 more feet. I'll find a way to keep talking. I'll carve a hole through the wall if I have to. I'll scream into the wind if that's what it takes. So if you're listening, you're not alone. I'm still here, and I'll be back at 6 p.m. Stay warm. Stay smart. Save your batteries. Save each other. This is Isaac Evans, Albany, New York, outside. It's 6:07 p.m. I had to wait a few minutes before starting. The wind's been howling all afternoon, loud enough to shake the walls. I thought the roof was going to go at one point. I almost didn't come on, almost stayed under the blankets and pretended I was somewhere else. But the clock kept ticking, and the red light on the console still works. So here I am. It's colder today. I know I said that this morning, but it's worse now. I've got 3 layers on, gloves, a scarf, and I'm still shivering. There's frost on the inside of my thermos. That never used to happen. I've been burning books. I know that probably sounds dramatic, but I ran out of firewood 2 weeks ago, and I'm saving the last of the furniture. So yeah. Books. Old stuff from the office. Manuals, phone books, marketing guides. Things no one's going to miss. I used to think I'd never do something like that, like it was some kind of sacred line you don't cross. But when it's between staying warm and sentiment, You learn real fast. I tried to ration my food again today, broke the last protein bar into 4 pieces, ate one around noon, then drank hot water and pretended it was soup. I've got maybe 5 cans of beans left, 3 of corn, and some rice. If the power holds, I can make that stretch another week. Maybe 2. After that, I don't know. There's a building 4 blocks from here. Used to be a medical center. I've been thinking about checking it out. Not for food, for heat. They might have had propane or old backup generators. But the snow's so thick now, I'd have to tunnel through half the street just to get close. I don't have a sled. I don't have snowshoes. I barely have boots that still work. Everything's cracking, drying out. Leather stiff like cardboard. Laces snapped yesterday. I'm using zip ties now. I'm not saying this to scare anyone. I just want to be honest. That's all I've got left. There's a layer of frost on the microphone. I can see my breath in front of me while I talk. That used to feel like winter. Now it just feels like a countdown. Every puff of air is a reminder that I'm still here, still alive, still losing heat, and still nothing on the national frequencies. I flipped through everything today. NOAA is gone. FEMA hasn't said a word since day 54. No tones, no signals, not even static pulses. The emergency alerts used to come in every couple hours. You'd hear that harsh blaring sound and feel this weird mix of dread and comfort. Like, okay, things are bad, but someone's watching. Someone knows. Now, it's just me, and maybe you. Maybe a handful of us, scattered in basements and rooftops and gutted grocery stores, keeping warm with whatever we can find. Waiting. What are we waiting for, though? Rescue? Spring? Sunlight? I don't know anymore. I read something once, can't remember where, about how it only takes 90 days without sun to start changing your brain chemistry. Vitamin D runs low, serotonin drops. You get more paranoid, more tired, more sad. That's where we are now. That's this ice age. Not just cold on the outside, cold all the way in. Like something's freezing inside our heads too. But then something weird happened today. I saw birds. I'm not joking. 2 birds. Black, medium size, sitting on the railing of the stairwell down the hall. I don't know how they got in. There's no way they flew here through that wind. Maybe they were already trapped inside, hiding somewhere. They just sat there, still as stone. Then one turned its head and looked right at me. I didn't move, didn't breathe. Then they both took off, flew right back into the dark. It shook me. For a second I thought, maybe it's a sign. Maybe there's still something alive out there. Something warm-blooded. Something that remembers how to fly. That's the first living thing I've seen in I don't even know how long. Everything else has been frozen, buried, silent. No dogs, no rats, not even the sound of mice. The cold chases everything away. Anyway, if you're holed up somewhere tonight and you're thinking it's over, it's not. You're still breathing. That means you're still fighting. Doesn't matter if your clothes don't match or your fingers are numb or your dinner is melted snow and half a stale cracker. You're still here. That's not nothing. I started keeping a journal again. I used to do that when I was younger. Back in high school. Just a notebook and a pen. I've got a couple left, and I figured, if I don't make it, someone might find them. Maybe it'll mean something. Maybe they'll know someone tried. Today I wrote down everything I remembered about my dad. His laugh. The way he'd sing along to old rock songs, off-key but loud. The way he made pancakes on Sundays even when he was tired. I don't know why. Maybe because writing it made me feel like he wasn't completely gone. I don't think memory ever freezes. That's the one part the cold hasn't taken yet. I want to try and make contact again tomorrow. I've been trying to rig the long-range antenna, see if I can push a signal farther. I doubt I'll reach across the country, but maybe another state. Maybe someone up north who's got a line open. If anyone hears this, and you've got a working antenna, scan 104.8. I'm going to try to ping the repeaters in Rochester. I don't know if they're still up. Might be ice bricks by now, but it's worth a try. I think that's it for tonight. I've got some rice soaking. I'll light the last candle in about an hour and try to sleep. It's getting harder. I don't even dream right anymore. Just shapes in the dark and weird sounds. Still, I'm alive. That's enough. This is Isaac Evans, still broadcasting from Albany, New York. Still here. I'll be back at 6 a.m. Keep watch, keep warm, don't go quiet. It's 6:03 in the morning. I didn't sleep. Not really. The wind was pounding the north wall like it wanted in. Every now and then, I'd hear something shift up on the roof, like the ice was settling, or maybe something broke loose. I kept thinking the whole thing might cave in. It hasn't. Not yet. But that sound, it messes with your head. It's not just noise. It's pressure. Constant pressure. Like the sky is trying to push you into the ground. I checked the thermometer this morning. -52. That's not a wind chill. That's just what it is now. If you're outside in that for more than 10 minutes without protection, you'll freeze. Skin first, then lungs, then brain. But I guess if you're listening, you already knew that. The radio's running hot this morning, literally. The panel lights flickered when I started it up. I had to warm the console with my hands for 5 minutes before the buttons stopped sticking. I'm burning the last of the wooden desk today. I split the drawers in half with a crowbar last night and stuffed them into the barrel. It's not much, but it's dry, and it burns. That's all I care about. The worst part is watching the flame go out. That little blue tail of heat shrinking smaller and smaller until the metal's just cold again. You watch it like it's your own heart slowing down. I haven't heard from anyone. No new signals, no new prints in the snow. Nothing but white and more white. I climbed halfway up the stairwell window to look outside, and I swear, the city's turning into one smooth, endless dune. Like the buildings are being erased. It used to be loud here, even before the storm, even at night. Sirens, traffic, dogs barking. Now it's like the world got padded, like someone wrapped everything in cotton and left us to rot in silence. I keep checking the batteries, like somehow they'll last longer if I stare at them. This station has 6 left. I've been rotating them carefully. Heat, radio, light. I only use 1 candle at a time, 1 per night. I stretch them out by snuffing the wick when I'm not looking at it. Last night I just sat in the dark for an hour. I don't know why, I just didn't want to see my breath anymore. I've been thinking a lot about the first few days, when everything still worked, when people were still trying. I remember walking past the high school downtown, just a couple blocks west of here. They'd opened it up as a warming shelter. You could see people lined up outside, wrapped in garbage bags and moving blankets, some with pets, kids holding plastic bowls. That was maybe day 11. I passed by again on day 17. Windows were blown out, doors hanging open, burn marks on the walls. No one left. I never found out what happened. Just another place we lost. We keep losing places. I saw a photo once, back when phones worked, of Times Square under the ice. Someone must have flown a drone over before everything went dark. You could still see the outlines of the signs under the frost, frozen ads for shoes and makeup, like ghosts. It was beautiful and sickening. You know what no one talks about? The smell. Not anymore, but in the early weeks, when the power first died, when food rotted, when hospitals lost refrigeration, you'd walk past a building and just smell it. Sweet, sour, moldy death. Now everything's frozen. No more smell. No more rot. Just stillness. I've been rationing the rice. It's down to 1 handful a day. I soak it overnight and heat it with snow. It's got a weird taste now, like metal. I don't know if that's from the pot or just my tongue losing it. The sprouts are still alive. That jar of lentils I told you about. They're hanging in there. I moved them next to the barrel. Gotta rotate them to keep the frost off. I talk to them sometimes. Sounds stupid, I know. But it helps. Pretending like they're listening. Like I'm not the only thing still breathing in here. No more dreams last night. Just a blank wall of nothing behind my eyes. Sometimes I think that's worse than the nightmares. At least when you dream, something's still alive in your head. Blankness feels like death's rehearsal. I'm going to try something today. I found an old roll of cable in the basement. Gonna try rigging it up the stairwell. See if I can boost the antenna through the ice. If I can get even a few feet higher, I might hit something. Anything. Maybe someone upstate. Maybe a rooftop shortwave in Jersey. Hell, I'll take a ping from Connecticut at this point. If you're out there and you hear this, I'm on 104.8 FM, Albany, 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Signal's weak, but I'm still pushing. I'm not stopping. You shouldn't either. One more thing. I don't know if this means anything, but the snow changed. It's not falling like it used to. It's thicker now, almost slushy, and it smells different. Not fresh, not like real snow. There's something off in it. I scooped a handful this morning to melt, and it left a gray residue in the pot, like soot. That's new. Maybe it's volcanic ash. Maybe something broke in the atmosphere. I don't know. Just don't eat it raw. Don't let your kids play in it if you've got them. If you've got filters, use them. If not, let it settle. Boil twice if you have the fuel. We're past the point of pretending this is temporary. This isn't weather anymore. This is the new skin of the world. The sun's not coming back tomorrow. And if it does, it won't be the sun we remember. But we're not dead yet. I'll be back tonight. Same time. Same voice. Stay covered. Keep burning. Think quiet thoughts. Isaac Evans, still in Albany, still breathing. It's 6:02 p.m. I almost didn't come on. I had this moment just after lighting the fire where I thought, what's the point? Who's left to listen? Who's even still trying? But I made myself sit down. I made myself turn on the mic. Habit, I guess. Or maybe just stubbornness. I spent the day trying to move the antenna. Didn't work. The wire snapped halfway through. My hands aren't what they used to be. Cold gets in your joints and stays there like rust. Everything takes longer now. Everything breaks. Still, I got it a little higher. Maybe 6, 7 feet off the roof line. That might give us a few more miles. I don't know. If anyone hears this and can boost me from your side, do it. Doesn't matter if you can't talk back. Just hit me with a pulse or something. I'll take anything. There's a crack in the ceiling near the west wall. I noticed it yesterday, but it's growing. Just a thin, jagged line, but long. It goes from the top corner of the room all the way down to the filing cabinets now. I marked it with a red Sharpie. If it spreads by morning, I might have to move downstairs. Floor 2 is half frozen, but still intact. I'm not panicking, just preparing. You learn to keep your body busy so your mind doesn't drift. I cleaned out the supply closet, found some rope, nails, a water-damaged flashlight, and a bag of dried split peas. No idea how old. I ate a handful anyway. So far I'm not dead. They taste like cardboard and chalk. But they're filling. Sort of. I rationed candle stubs into quarters. I can get 3 nights out of each now, maybe 4 if I use moonlight through the frost. Moon's still there, faint behind the clouds. It's like watching a ghost press its face against the sky. I keep hearing things at night. Not voices, not machines, just echoes. Like boots crunching snow on the roof, or something scraping metal 2 floors below. But every time I check, there's nothing. Just shadows and wind. Maybe I'm imagining it. Maybe not. This is the part they never show in movies. The middle. When the panic dies down but help never comes. When the screaming stops and you're just left with silence and bad insulation. The beginning was fire and noise and panic. Sirens, looting, fights in gas lines, grocery store stampedes, people frozen in traffic because they thought they could outrun the storm. I remember a man on the corner waving a sign that said, "We deserve this." He was barefoot, screaming at the sky. Now it's just slow, quiet, heavy. There's no more internet, no cell towers, no satellites. I know because I tried the ham rig today. Again, nothing. I don't even know if the space station's still up there. Maybe it froze too. Can you imagine that? Drifting around Earth in the dark, watching the whole planet turn white? I don't know what's worse. Being alone up there or down here? I think about my sister a lot. I told you she was in Buffalo. Her name's Hannah. She had a kid, Ari, 5 years old. He liked dinosaurs. Could name every single one in his books, even the ones I couldn't pronounce. He used to FaceTime me and roar like a T-Rex. That was before everything went silent. If you're out there, Hannah, I'm still here. I'm still trying. I kept that picture you mailed me last summer. The one of you two on the lake with that stupid inflatable flamingo. It's wrinkled now, a little singed from being too close to the fire. But I look at it every day. And if you didn't make it, I hope it was fast. I hope you were warm when it happened. I hope Ari didn't feel a thing. Sorry. I didn't mean to spiral. I don't know how much longer we have before it gets too cold for any of this to matter. Before even the radios freeze. Before words get too slow. That's the thing they don't tell you. Your brain gets slow when you're cold. You fumble your own name. You forget what you were saying mid-sentence. Like now. Right. News. I don't have any big updates. But here's what I can tell you. Don't trust the snow anymore. It's not clean. Even when it looks white, it's not. I melted some this morning and poured it through 3 cloth filters. Still came out gray. There's something in it. I think the ash in the skies mixing into the precipitation. That's what's giving it that off smell. Burnt plastic and metal. Might be from up north. Old factories or storage plants breaking down under the pressure. If you've got plastic sheets or tarps, use those to collect melt instead. Build a slope. Let the snow gather, then scrape just the top. Anything from the bottom might be contaminated. I also found frostbite on my left hand. Not serious, just the tips of my fingers. Black dots, numb patches. Wrapped them in cloth, rubbed them down with what little heat I had. Don't ignore it. That's how you lose fingers. Keep moving, even inside. Get up, stretch. Walk back and forth. Do laps if you can. Dance if you have to. Anything to keep the blood from going thick. I miss stupid things. Coffee. Pillows that aren't frozen. Socks without holes. My neighbor Jim, who used to complain about his cable bill every time I saw him. I bet he wouldn't complain now. There's a kind of peace to the silence. That's the scary part. You start getting used to it. You start thinking maybe this is how life should be. Just you, and the cold, and the slow drip of water into a tin cup. But that's not life. That's just surviving. And I think we're meant for more than that. We're meant for songs, for crowds, for warmth and noise and hugs that last too long. We're meant for light. I'm not saying it's going to come back. I'm not that hopeful. But I think if we remember what it felt like, maybe that's enough. Maybe that memory can keep us warm when nothing else will. I'll be back in the morning. Same time. If you're hearing this, write something down. A name, a date, a thought, anything. Make it real. Make it last. This is Isaac Evans, still in Albany, still awake. It's 6:01 a.m. Woke up with ice on my eyelashes. Not snow. Ice. My breath froze to the blanket again, and I had to tear it off this morning like peeling off a bandage. My lips are bleeding. My fingers aren't working right today either, so I'm gonna go slow. If I slur or repeat something, it's not the mic. It's me. I'm cold. Colder than usual. I had to move downstairs. That crack in the ceiling from yesterday? It split all the way. Something must have shifted in the night. Maybe weight from the roof, maybe ice pushing from the side. I heard it go around 4 in the morning. Woke me up like a shotgun. Sounded like the whole building was groaning. Didn't collapse. Not yet. But I didn't wait. Packed everything I had, what little is left, and dragged it all down to the second floor. Office space. It's mostly gutted. Desk legs, plastic chairs, warped flooring. The windows are sealed up tight though. No breaks. No drafts. That's something. I had to rip the wires out of the ceiling to power the console. No more backups. I've got the generator running off a car battery I pulled from an old van last week. Don't ask how I got it here. My back still hates me for it. But it works. For now. It's loud. The hum is constant. I can't hear myself think, but the mic's live and the signal's strong. That's all that matters. I'm sitting on a milk crate, wrapped in a sleeping bag that smells like damp socks. My boots are off because the lining's soaked, and if I leave them on, I'll get frostbite for sure. My toes are wrapped in grocery bags. Don't laugh. It works. A little. I boiled snow with a piece of aluminum I found in the stairwell. Heated it on the barrel. Drank it warm. Might have been the best thing I've had in weeks. I was thinking earlier, before I turned this on. It's weird what feels good now. What feels like a win. Not being in pain. That's a win. Getting the fire started in one strike. Win. Catching your breath without coughing. Huge win. Last night I heard something. Different from the usual wind or creaks. It was rhythmic. Like a steady pounding. Like someone was banging metal against concrete. 4 taps. Pause. 4 taps again. Same pattern. I waited, thinking maybe it was my brain playing tricks, but it happened 3 more times. That wasn't the storm. That was someone. Problem is, I don't know where it came from. Sound carries strange now. The snow eats some of it, but the wind curves it around corners, bounces it through frozen streets like a ghost. I thought about going out to check, put on every layer I have. Stood by the door for 10 minutes. Then I sat back down. Maybe I'm a coward. Maybe I'm smart. Maybe both. I don't know anymore. But I'm not going to throw away all these days of surviving because of one strange sound in the dark. If it was someone, I hope they find their way. I hope they have better boots than me. I wish I could help. I really do. You ever think about how many people you passed on the street that you'll never see again? Like, people you didn't even notice. The guy walking his dog with headphones in. The lady buying soup in line. The kid skateboarding past the post office. All gone. Maybe not dead, but scattered. Changed. Somewhere else. Or frozen in place. We used to be able to scroll through a feed and see hundreds of people in a second. Their breakfasts, their opinions, their faces. Now I go days without seeing another set of eyes. I miss noise. I miss people arguing about nothing. I miss overhearing conversations in the grocery aisle. I miss commercials. You believe that? I actually miss ads. I started talking to myself more, out loud, whole conversations. Sometimes I argue with myself just to remember what voices sound like. This broadcast, it helps, gives me something to focus on. But when the mic is off, when the generator stops humming, it's just me and whatever thoughts haven't iced over yet. No news again. Still no signals. Still no government broadcasts. Still no airplanes. I think that's when I knew it was over. When the sky got quiet. No contrails. No engine roars. Just nothing. You ever stop and think how strange it is not to hear planes? We got so used to it. That subtle buzz in the background. Now when I look up, I see nothing but gray. A colorless ceiling. No birds. No movement. Just clouds stacked on clouds. The lentils died. I forgot to rotate the jar yesterday after the move. Frost got to them. They were wilted and brown this morning. I tried warming them, but it was too late. They were the last green thing I had. I actually cried. Not because I was hungry, though I am, but because it felt like I let something die. Something small and fragile and alive. In a world where everything else is going still. I buried them in the snow just outside the second floor window. Just a little scoop. Marked the spot with a piece of tape. Dumb, right? But it felt like the right thing to do. There's a pigeon frozen in mid-flight hanging out of the ice on the north wall. I saw it when I moved floors. It must have hit the building at full speed. Its wings are open. Beak open. Like it was flying straight into the end. Sometimes I wonder if it's better to go like that. Fast. Mid-motion. Not knowing. Just boom. Gone. But I don't think that's us. People, I mean. We're the type to linger. To hold on. Even when everything's slipping. Even when the fire's just embers and the food tastes like cardboard. We hold. So I'm holding. I'll keep talking as long as I can. As long as the wires stay up and the barrel still burns. As long as the batteries give even a spark. Because if there's one person out there, just one, and they hear this, then I'm not talking into nothing. I'm not going to let this end in silence. You're not alone. Even if it feels like it. Even if your windows are frosted and your roof creaks and your breath comes out like smoke. I'm here. I'm still breathing. I'm still broadcasting. This is Isaac Evans, Albany, New York. Still alive. It's 6:06 p.m. The generator almost didn't start. I had to jump it with a handheld crank I found in a junk drawer 3 days ago. My fingers are stiff, and my shoulder feels like it's got sand in the socket. But it worked. That's what matters. I got power. I got signal. I got voice. It snowed again today. Heavier, slower, like the sky's dropping handfuls of ash wrapped in ice. It didn't pile up much. It's too dense now, but it blanketed everything in that dull gray coat. The kind that doesn't reflect light, just eats it. The sun hasn't come out in almost 3 months. I can't remember what shadows look like. There's no definition to anything anymore. Just outlines, soft and fading. The window in this new room has iced shut completely. I can't see anything out of it. It's not even clear. It's just a wall now. A glowing patch of white where glass used to be. I pushed on it earlier. Solid as concrete. There's a hallway 1 floor below where the frost patterns look like veins. They twist up the walls in spider webs of ice, curling around door frames, curling into sockets. It looks like the building's trying to grow something. Or maybe something is growing through it. I don't go down there much. The silence is different down there. Heavier. I spent the afternoon reading old logs, notebooks from the radio staff before the storm, mostly schedules and inventory, but in the back of one binder, I found a journal entry. Just a couple sentences. It said, "If the signal ever goes dead, I hope someone else picks it up. Not for the news, just so we remember how to speak to each other." That hit me harder than I thought it would. We've gotten so quiet. We were already slipping before this, weren't we? Talking less, posting more, staring into screens and calling that connection. Now the screens are gone, and it's just the quiet. The kind that stretches and echoes and comes back to you sounding older than when it left. I've been thinking about what we'd tell the next generation if one ever comes. Like if some kid 20 years from now asked, "What was it like during the freeze?" What would we say? Would we tell them about the cold, the hunger, the fear? Or would we lie a little? Dress it up? Say something poetic like, "We learned to survive." Or, "We discovered who we really were." Because who we really were is scared and tired and brittle. But maybe that's not all we are. I've seen people share. I've seen them climb out of windows to bring food to someone who couldn't move. I've seen strangers huddled under broken bus stops, passing heat packs back and forth without a word. So maybe we're both. The thing is, we don't know how this ends. We don't have the privilege of looking back yet. And maybe we won't. Maybe there won't be a back to look at. Maybe this just keeps going. Maybe the ice never melts. But I think the story still matters, even if no one hears it, even if it dies with us. Because if we're going to vanish, I want someone to know we were trying. I want someone to know we didn't all go quiet. I did a sweep of the street below with the handheld radio again. No signals. But I picked up something weird on 97.3. A repeating tone. Not a distress beacon. More like a power hum. It pulsed 3 times, then stopped, then 3 again. It might be a backup system. Maybe a server farm still running off stored energy. Maybe just feedback from a solar loop. But it was something. I marked the time. 4:42 p.m. I'll scan again tomorrow. If you're somewhere in range and you've got a rig, scan 97.3 around the 440 block. See if you hear it. Let me know if it gets louder or fades. It could lead somewhere, or it could be nothing. But I'd rather chase ghosts than sit here waiting to become one. My boots are finally dry. Not warm, but dry. I stuffed them with newspaper and set them near the barrel for hours. They still smell like old soup, but they're wearable. I haven't felt my toes since noon, though. That's probably not a good sign. I'll sleep in shifts tonight. 2 hours on, 2 off. Gotta keep feeding the fire. I'm down to particle board and a box of plastic binders. They don't burn long, but it's enough to keep the room above freezing. I haven't seen another living thing in days. I miss birds. I even miss squirrels. I miss that annoying barking dog that used to live across the alley and wouldn't shut up at 3 a.m. Now, I listen for that sound. Any sound. Just something alive. I knocked a picture frame off the wall earlier. It cracked, but the photo inside was fine. It was the original radio staff. 4 people, arm in arm, grinning like idiots. One guy in a Hawaiian shirt and flip-flops. Inside the studio. In winter. I taped it to the console. They looked like they believed in something. I want to remember what that felt like. It's 6:33 now. Gotta end soon. Can't drain the battery too far. But I'll say this before I go. If you're still alive, that's not just survival. That's defiance. That's resistance. That's you saying no to silence. Keep saying no. Keep boiling snow. Keep wrapping your hands in plastic. Keep whispering names into the dark. Keep fighting. I'll be back at 6 a.m. Same place. Same voice. This is Isaac Evans. Albany, New York. Still here. It's 6:02 a.m. I had to rub my face raw this morning just to get the blood moving. My nose was so cold I thought it might have stopped working. Couldn't smell anything. Not that there's much to smell anymore. Everything either froze or burned. I slept for maybe an hour. I lost track. The fire kept going, but it ate through the last of the binders. I didn't even feel the heat. I just watched the edges of plastic curl and drip into the pan. It's like watching time bleed out. I opened a can of corn for breakfast. Cold. No fire left to heat it. I used to hate canned corn. I don't anymore. Funny how things you took for granted become delicacies. The radio scanner caught a noise again last night. 2:14 a.m. A blip. One single blip. Not a tone, not a voice. Just something. It was quick, like a needle poking through silence. I marked it. It's not much, but it's more than nothing. If you're somewhere near Albany and you've got a scanner, sweep around 99.1 between 2 and 2:30 a.m. There might be something there, or it might just be the wind echoing through broken steel. Hard to tell anymore. The line between real and imagined is thinning. The building's making new sounds. I heard it groan this morning. Low. Deep. Like it was tired. Like it wanted to stop holding itself together. I don't know how much longer it'll last. Ice does strange things to concrete. Pressure builds. Things snap when they shouldn't. I don't have anywhere else to go. The streets are impassable. Not just snowdrifts now. It's layers of ice, compacted like armor. Cars buried so deep they look like metal coffins. I tried once to dig one out. Got through maybe 2 feet before I had to stop. Breath froze in my chest. Almost passed out. People ask, or used to ask, why didn't you leave when you had the chance? Because there was no place to go. The freeze came from every side. The storm didn't have a center. It swallowed everything. I remember when they still aired satellite maps. You could watch the frost bloom on the screen like mold. Canada disappeared in 2 weeks. The Great Lakes turned to stone. Then it moved down. New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio. It didn't care about borders or warnings. It just took. Now we're here. I spend most of the day moving. Not far. Just pacing the room, stretching arms, kneeling, standing, rotating fingers. If you stay still too long, you stop feeling things. And if you stop feeling, you stop caring. And if you stop caring, well, you don't get back from that. I've been talking out loud to objects more. Chairs, the wall, the stove. Last night I apologized to the trash bin for knocking it over. That's where I'm at. I think the worst part isn't the cold. It's the silence. The way it settles in your ears like cotton, like the world's holding its breath. Even the station used to creak and buzz and hum. Now it just listens. I pulled out an old voice recorder earlier, one of those handheld ones with cassette tapes. Still works. Found fresh AA batteries too. Probably expired. But they've got juice. I'm going to start taping things. Not just the broadcast, but me. Thoughts. Observations. Maybe a little story here and there. Something to leave behind. Not because I think anyone will find it, but because saying something, even to no one, still feels better than silence. If you're out there, if you've got a recorder, do the same. Speak your name. Say where you are. Say the date. Even if you have to guess. Some part of this world should remember that we were here. We lived. We froze. We tried. I keep thinking about water. What it used to sound like. Showers. Sinks. Gutters after a storm. Now water's a memory. The stuff I melt from the window frost barely counts. It's thick. Metallic. You can taste the pipe rust in it. I had a dream last night, probably because I was half delirious. I was in a swimming pool, one of those indoor ones with bright blue tiles and way too much chlorine. I dove underwater and just stayed there. And it was warm. I didn't want to come up. When I did, I woke up, and the side of my face was frozen to the floor. No metaphor there, just reality. If you're listening, and you're thinking of giving up, don't. Not yet. Every minute you survive is a protest. Every breath is proof that the cold hasn't won yet. You're more than your fear. You're more than your hunger. You are alive, and that matters. Even now, especially now. I'll try the scanner again tonight, see if the blip comes back. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's someone like me, tapping a mic, breathing into the dark, waiting for a reply. If that's you, keep trying, keep pushing. We can't lose our voices. I'll speak again at 6 p.m. This is Isaac Evans. Still here, still speaking. It's 6:05 p.m. I couldn't get the fire going for an hour. Everything's damp. I've been burning insulation boards from the ceiling, and I think the glue on them is finally giving up. It doesn't catch right anymore. Smokes more than it burns. My lungs feel like they've been coated in chalk dust. I coughed for 20 straight minutes earlier, dry and sharp like tearing paper in your chest. But the signal's live. The air outside is different tonight. Still heavy, still frozen, but there's a pressure shift. I don't know if it's a real change or if I'm just imagining it, but the wind's not the same. It whistles instead of howling. Softer. Like something big is moving far away, and we're just catching the edges. I went upstairs again today, just to check. The crack in the wall hasn't grown. That's good, I guess. But the stairwell is worse. Snow's pressed against the glass all the way up. Can't even see through the windows anymore. They're just white plates now. Light without shape. I used to walk those stairs like they were nothing. Every day, back when I still had a routine. Coffee, emails, audio edits. back when my biggest problem was deadlines. Now it's whether I'll wake up to a collapsed roof or a dead battery. Funny how fast the scale shifts. I haven't eaten since yesterday. There's a half can of green beans in the corner, but I'm saving it. I want to know I have something for morning. That makes it easier to sleep. I licked ice off the wall earlier, just to feel moisture in my mouth. That's what I've become. A man licking walls. My voice is starting to echo weird in the mic. Might be a shift in the insulation, or maybe the walls are thinning. Maybe sounds bouncing off the ice layers outside now. It's like talking inside a cave. Not unpleasant, just strange. I wonder how many others are left. I don't mean globally. I mean within 100 miles of me, within shouting distance. Is there anyone 2 blocks over just like me? Burning chair legs, sipping ice water, talking to no one? If you are, I wish I could find you, but going out means death. I know that now. Even 10 minutes out there can wreck your body. It's not just the cold, it's the air. Feels thicker, like breathing snow. I tried wrapping cloth around my face the other day and walking to the old diner. Made it 1 block. Saw my reflection in a car window. Face already white, lips cracked, eyes watering. I turned around, barely made it back. I had to crawl the last few feet. That's the reality now. Outside is suicide. Inside is waiting. I flipped through the old broadcast recordings before me, back when the world was fine. I listened to a segment about local pet adoption. The host laughed 3 times in 2 minutes. You could hear people in the background joking off mic. I cried. Not because it was sad, because it sounded alive. I forgot what laughter sounded like. I forgot what it felt like to hear someone speak without fear in their voice. We talk differently now. Short, careful, measured, like every word costs heat. I miss small talk. I miss sarcasm. I miss people saying dumb things just to fill time. Now time doesn't need filling. It's too full already. I think a bird hit the roof earlier. A hard thump, not a branch, not ice. Something feathered. I didn't go check. Can't get up there. But if it was a bird, that means something's still flying. I want to believe in that. I want to believe that not everything has settled, that not everything gave up. Because if there's still one bird in the sky, then there's still sky. And if there's still sky, then maybe the sun hasn't left for good. Maybe it's just sleeping. We're used to things bouncing back. Power goes out, it comes back. Stores close, they reopen. Phones die, you charge them. But this time, nothing's bouncing. It's just falling. Slowly, endlessly. We used to think the world ended with fire. Bombs, explosions. Turns out, it ends with a long, slow freeze. A yawn. A sigh. And then nothing. But I'm still here. Still coughing. Still stoking the barrel. Still talking. You're still hearing me. That's something. I'll scan again tonight. 97.3. 104.8. 99.1. I'll cycle through every hour. If you hear anything, blip, tone, whisper, document it. Even if it's nothing. Even if it's static. The record matters. Because if we don't tell this story, who will? If we don't remember what happened, it'll be like we were never here. I know we're tired. I know we're numb. But don't forget your name. Don't forget your voice. Write something. Speak something. Live something. Even if no one else sees it. I'll be back in the morning. This is Isaac Evans, Albany, New York. Still alive. Still remembering. It's 6:01 a.m. I had a dream last night that I was inside a grocery store. Fluorescent lights, warm air, music playing from the ceiling. It was empty, but the shelves were full. Cans, bread, cereal, soap. I walked down the aisles, and I remember just reaching out and touching things. Touching a bottle of shampoo, a bag of oranges, a box of cookies. Just touching. When I woke up, my hand was gripping the wall so tight, I couldn't feel my fingers. There's nothing soft left in this world. Nothing that isn't cracked, brittle, or frozen. I'd give anything just to feel a piece of fruit again. Just to pick something up without hearing it crunch. The room's holding steady. No collapse. I patched up the base of the window with layers of cloth and foam from the chairs. It's not airtight, but it helps. The air inside holds just enough warmth to keep my teeth from chattering while I talk. I've stopped using the blanket when I sleep. I bundle my arms into the sleeping bag, sit upright against the wall, and stay that way until morning. It's easier than lying down. Lying down makes it too hard to get back up. No sound from the scanner last night. But there was light. Around 3:45 a.m., I saw a flicker across the skyline. Not fire, not lightning. A pulse. Blue. Quick. I don't know what it was. Could have been a power node blowing, or a reflection, or something else. But it lit the clouds from underneath, and for a second, I thought maybe, just maybe, the grid had stirred, like a sleeping animal twitching in its sleep. It didn't come back. Nothing since. Just more dark. Still, I wrote it down. Because something about that glow reminded me what it felt like to have hope. Just for a second. I haven't talked much about my hands. They're worse now. 2 fingers on the left don't bend anymore. I've wrapped them, tried to massage them back to life, but they stay stiff. Black around the nails. I think I'll lose them. It's okay. I mean, it's not. But it is. You start making deals with yourself. You can lose 2 fingers, but not your voice. You can lose feeling in your feet, but not your hearing. You can lose your dreams, but not your memory. That's the line I draw. The minute I forget who I am, that's when the cold wins. My name is Isaac Evans. I used to be a sound editor. I used to bike to the grocery store. I used to hum when I cooked. I used to wear mismatched socks and pretend it was a personality trait. Now I wear whatever's dry and cook whatever I can melt. But I still hum. Quiet. When I'm boiling water. When I'm staring into the barrel. I hummed the Jeopardy theme the other day. Couldn't remember why. Then it hit me. I used to watch it with my dad. Every night at 7. He'd guess before the questions ended. I miss him. I miss everything. But missing things is proof I'm still here. That's the thread I hold. There's this old story, somewhere in a book I read as a kid, about a man who lit a lantern every night and left it in his window, just in case someone lost found their way. He never knew if anyone saw it. He just kept lighting it. Because maybe, one night, it'd save somebody. That's what this is. This broadcast. My lantern. If you're wandering in the dark, I'm here. If you've lost everything, I'm still speaking. If you're cold, scared, out of food, I understand. We all need something to follow. A voice, a flicker, even if it's distant, especially if it's distant. Here's what I can tell you today. If you have powdered drink mix, yes, the sugary kind, don't waste it. It's not just for flavor. Sugar gives your brain something to hang on to. A tiny hit of dopamine. Even a sip of sweetness can bring you back from the edge. Same goes for salt. You lose minerals fast when you're cold. Don't wait until you're dizzy. Mix a pinch into your water. Doesn't matter if it tastes bad. Your body needs it. And movement. I say this every time, but I'm saying it again. Move. 10 minutes of motion every hour. Shake your limbs. Tap your feet. Stretch your back. If you're injured, move what you can. If you're lying down, flex your hands. Roll your neck. Stillness kills faster than frostbite. We weren't built to hibernate. We were built to endure. And we're doing it. Day by day. Hour by hour. Don't count what you've lost today. Count what you've kept. A tooth. A toe. A memory. A whisper. Count it. Because one day, if this ever breaks, if the world ever starts to spin again, someone's going to ask what we did, and we'll say, we stayed, we spoke, we didn't go silent. I'll be back tonight. If the signal fails, wait an hour. Then 2. I'll find a way. This is Isaac Evans. Still Albany. Still ice. Still alive. It's 6:03 p.m. I'm going to talk slower tonight. Not because I want to, but because my mouth's not working right. My jaw feels tight, like it's been wired shut from the cold. I spent most of the day wrapped in 2 blankets and the coat I found in the utility closet downstairs, sitting by the barrel and rationing warmth like it's some kind of currency I can't afford to waste. The fire took forever to catch. I used the last of the alcohol wipes as kindling. That's how far I've fallen, burning sanitation supplies to make soup out of snow. I think it's day 94 now, or 95. Hard to say anymore. The clocks still tick, but time doesn't feel like it used to. It stretches, collapses. There are mornings I wake up and can't tell if I've been asleep for minutes or hours. The light outside never changes. Just that same dim, sunless gray pressed against the windows like a bruise. There's no morning, no evening, just cold and less cold, just before and after I talk into this mic. I sat for a long time today and tried to remember the sound of rain. Not the thunder, not the wind, just the rain. That soft, endless tapping on the roof, the sidewalk, the glass. The way it made everything feel alive, like the world was breathing. I used to get annoyed by it. Used to groan when the forecast said rain all week. Now I'd give anything to hear it again, even a drizzle. Even the smallest drop tapping the tin roof above me like a secret. But all I hear now is the hiss of wind, the creak of frozen beams, and the occasional pop when the ice shifts. The world doesn't breathe anymore. It groans. The food situation is getting worse. I opened the last can of beans and immediately felt guilty for it, like I should have saved it for something. A celebration, a turning point. But there's no such thing anymore. There's just now, and next. And next always looks thinner. I spent part of the morning trying to build a better seal around the vents. Cold seeps in through every crack. I used torn clothing, stuff I can't wear anymore because the fabric's gone stiff, and pressed it into the corners, stuffed it under the door. It helps, a little. I hung the emergency blanket over the west wall, hoping it would reflect some of the heat. It just sags there now, like a dull, silver curtain hiding nothing. There was a sound earlier, around 1:30 p.m., not human, not a machine. It was a deep, distant rumble, low and slow, like a tremor rolling under the city. I felt it in my ribs. The glass on the desk rattled. Then it stopped. I waited for more, but nothing came. No aftershocks, no falling debris, just that one low growl from the deep. I don't know what caused it. Could have been a building giving in somewhere across the city. Could have been a gas line buckling under the pressure. Could have been something worse. The worst part was how quickly it was gone. Like even the disasters are tired now. I don't know how much longer the building can hold. The windows on the 3rd floor are starting to bow. Not crack, just bulge, like they're under pressure from the ice outside. I tried tapping on one with the butt of a broom, and it made this awful, hollow sound, like knocking on a coffin. I think the snow has packed in so tight that the walls are compressing. That's not good. Pressure does things to structures. It builds quietly, then breaks all at once. Still, I'm not leaving. There's nowhere to go. The streets are silent. The rooftops are buried. There's no more horizon, just a flat plane of white that swallows sound and light and direction. I could walk for 10 hours and end up exactly where I started. Or worse, not make it back. I looked out through the upstairs bathroom window this afternoon, the only one not fully sealed. I had to scrape frost off the inside with a spoon to see anything. What I saw was nothing. Not metaphorical, nothing. Literal. The street's gone. The signs are gone. The cars, the sidewalks, the trash bins, all gone under ice. There's a mailbox across the street that used to be waist high. It's gone now, either buried or crushed or drifted over. It's like Albany's being erased, like the city's disappearing one layer at a time. The radio's dead quiet again. I scan constantly. 104.8, 99.1, 97.3. No tones, no voices, no static bursts. I don't even know if anyone's transmitting anymore. Maybe I'm the only one left trying. Maybe everyone else ran out of fire, or food, or faith. I don't blame them. There are moments where I sit here and wonder if I'm just a ghost, talking to myself from a grave made of brick and static. But then, I think of the voice I heard, days ago, weeks maybe. That faint signal, that repeating pulse. It was real. I remember it. I wrote it down. Someone else tried. That's all I need. Proof that I'm not alone in this. I haven't said much about the dreams lately. They've changed. Used to be memories, warm places, faces I missed, smells I'd forgotten. Now they're stranger, abstract, blurry. Last night I dreamed I was inside a library, but all the books were blank, just empty covers on endless shelves. I walked aisle after aisle looking for something to read, but every page was white. The silence was deafening. No whispers, no pages turning. Just me, alone, in a building full of nothing. I think it's my brain trying to process what the world's become. A place full of things that used to mean something, now hollow. But then I wake up, and I still have this microphone, this voice, this tiny little ripple in the dark. So here's what I'll do. I'll keep talking. I'll keep lighting the fire. I'll keep warming my hands over plastic and metal scraps. I'll keep scraping frost off the inside of glass and pretending it's a view. And if you're out there, if you're hearing me, do the same. Don't let the silence win. Don't let your breath be the last sound you make. We are more than this freeze, more than this quiet. We are stubborn. We are loud. We are alive. For now, that's enough. This is Isaac Evans. Still here, still cold, still speaking. It's 6 a.m. The walls are talking again, not with voices, with pressure. I can feel them flex when I press my palms flat against the paint. They breathe like lungs now, slow, cracking breaths that stretch and settle and whisper to themselves in the bones of the building. Every hour the creaks get sharper, not like wood swelling, but like something twisting from the outside, reshaping what used to be a safe space into a frozen cage. The cold has changed. It's not just low temperature anymore. It's something else. It feels heavier. Like the cold itself has weight. Like walking across the room drags something behind me. Not wind. Not my own exhaustion. Something unseen. The kind of feeling that makes your skin crawl even when there's nothing near you. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just telling the truth as it sits in the air, as it presses down on my shoulders. I didn't sleep at all last night. Couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I'd hear a faint knocking, like fingertips against drywall, not from above, from the floor, from beneath me. It could be the pipes, could be the wind, could be my own heartbeat bouncing off empty walls. But it's been happening every night, at random intervals, always just when I start to drift. I've moved the cot to the far corner of the room, next to the emergency blanket curtain. It blocks some of the cold that seeps through the baseboard. I stacked 4 chairs beside me like a barrier. It doesn't do anything real, but it makes me feel less exposed. I used to live on the 5th floor of a walk-up. That apartment had south-facing windows. You could see the river on clear days when the wind was low. I'd sit with my coffee in the morning and watch the world blink awake. Dogs, joggers, kids dragging backpacks. Every movement had a rhythm to it. The city breathed like a giant, chaotic animal, and I loved every second of it. I remember hating traffic, hating noise, hating crowds. I thought silence was what I needed. Now, I'd trade everything for a traffic jam, for a screaming baby, for a stranger bumping into me on the subway with a muttered apology. I want to hear someone complain. I want to hear someone laugh at their phone. I want to be interrupted mid-thought by someone's stupid ringtone. I don't want to be the only voice anymore, but I keep speaking, because someone has to. I rotated the batteries again last night. I have 4 left that hold a decent charge. 2 barely work. 1 died completely and started to corrode. I buried it under the snow in the stairwell. No point letting the fumes linger in here. That leaves me with maybe 2 more weeks of regular broadcasts, assuming I don't increase usage, which I won't. Not unless something changes. That's the deal I made with myself. I will speak for as long as I have power, breath, and reason. When one of those runs out, I'll stop, but not a second sooner. This morning, I tried to clean myself. That sounds so small, but it felt monumental. I heated water in a tin can, stripped down to my base layers, and used a strip of old towel to wipe the grime from my arms, neck, face. I haven't had a full bath in months, but even that little effort made a difference. I smelled like rust and mildew and wet wool, but at least I didn't smell like rot. Hygiene's something we forget when we're in survival mode, but it matters. You keep yourself clean. You remind your brain that you're still a person, not an animal. Not a shadow waiting to be erased. I shaved too. Just a little. Just the sides. My hand shook so badly I almost cut myself twice. But I looked in the mirror afterward and saw someone I almost recognized. You've got to hang on to those glimpses. Those tiny flashes of the life before this. That version of you that existed when the world had colors. I've stopped expecting rescue. I want to be clear about that. This broadcast isn't about being found anymore. It's about being remembered. There's a difference. Rescue implies someone's coming, that there's a plan, a timeline, a fix. But being remembered? That's about legacy, about letting the next version of the world, if there ever is one, know that we didn't go quietly, that we made noise, that we left marks. I scratched a message into the wall behind the desk this morning. Just 3 words. We were here. Big letters. Took me an hour. I used a nail. My fingers cramped. But it's there. And now, it's part of the room. If the roof collapses tomorrow, if the signal dies tonight, if my lungs freeze mid-sentence, someone someday might see that message and know that we didn't vanish without a trace. I've started singing too, just under my breath. Old songs, stuff I remember from car rides or long nights with headphones. I don't sing well. Never did. But it's not about that. It's about sound, about vibration, about filling the space around me with something other than creaks and sighs. Last night I sang Ain't No Sunshine, quiet, barely a whisper, just enough to feel the words on my lips. And for a second, just a second, I forgot where I was. I forgot the cold. I forgot the hunger. I forgot the ache in my hands. That's the power of voice. That's why I'm still doing this. I hope, wherever you are, that you're doing something similar. I hope you're lighting candles even when they're low. I hope you're writing notes to no one. I hope you're telling stories to yourself by firelight. I hope you're tapping Morse code into walls and carving names into wood. I hope you're fighting. Because every time we push back against the silence, we win. Every time we choose motion over stillness, we win. Every time we speak, we win. It's just after 6:30 now. The wind's picking up again. I hear something rolling across the roof. Maybe ice breaking off. Maybe something else. Doesn't matter. What matters is that I'm still here. And you're still listening. This is Isaac Evans, from a frozen city. Still alive. Still human. It's 6:04 p.m. The room is darker tonight. Not because the fire went out, I've got it going, weak but steady, but because the outside light is gone. Not dim, not fogged, just gone. It's as if the world outside the window decided it was done trying to pretend. The usual gray smear that hung behind the frosted glass all day, gone. The light's been bleeding out of this city slowly for months, but tonight, it feels like it left in one final breath. I can't tell if the sun set or if it just stopped trying. I held my hand up to the window earlier, just to check. No glow, no shift in tone, not even a hint of the old sky that used to show up around the edge of dusk. Just black, flat, hollow black. I pressed my forehead to the glass and listened. Nothing. The wind still. No creaking. No movement. No pressure on the walls. Which should be good news. But it isn't. Stillness like this doesn't come without a cost. The world is holding its breath again. Or it's waiting for something to break. I spent the afternoon sorting through what's left of the supply closet. Found a box of old radio cables, 2 expired packs of trail mix, and a roll of duct tape. The mix had a sour smell, but I ate around the bad bits, raisins and broken pretzels, the kind of thing I used to hate on hiking trips, Now it's practically gourmet. My stomach still hurts a little, but I'll take it. I fixed one of the window seals with the duct tape, patched the corner of the west vent. It's not much, but every degree of warmth I can keep inside buys me another hour of not losing a toe. I still have all 10, by the way. I check every morning, wiggle them, count them, feel the burn when I press them to the floor. It's part of the ritual now. Make sure I'm still whole, even if everything else isn't. I tried something new today. Set up a system to catch more condensation off the ceiling. I noticed droplets forming above the barrel whenever I got it hot enough. So I strung up some plastic wrap I found in the kitchen drawer, formed a funnel, and set a cup under the lowest point. Caught maybe 2 ounces of water. Not much, but pure. Clean. No soot. No ash. It's strange, isn't it? How proud I was of that. Just watching water fall into a cup. Felt like winning something. You lower your standards quickly when survival takes over. I think about that a lot. What we considered essential back then. Back when things worked. People got mad if their food delivery was late. If the Wi-Fi glitched. If the coffee order was wrong. Now I cheer when I find a half-rusted can opener that still spins. Now I save broken rubber bands in case I need to wrap something later. Now I consider the silence a blessing, if it doesn't come with creaking floors and phantom knocks. You know what I really miss? Hot showers, not baths. Showers. That endless stream of warmth. The sound of it bouncing off tile. The steam fogging the mirror. The way it made you feel weightless and real and whole. You step out of a hot shower, and for 5 minutes, you feel human again. I haven't felt that in 95 days. I keep a bar of soap in my coat pocket. Dry. Unused. It smells faintly like citrus. I pull it out sometimes just to remember. Just to breathe it in. I think that's why I talk about memories so much now. They're the only things that don't freeze. That don't rust or spoil. They fade, sure, but they fade slow. And if you pull them close enough, warm them with your hands, they still glow a little. I talked to my reflection today. Not the first time. There's a piece of broken mirror in the drawer. It's jagged, warped from the cold, barely shows a whole face, but it shows enough. Enough to see the beard growing unevenly, the cracks in my lips, the dull in my eyes. I asked it, "How long can we keep this up?" It didn't answer, but I waited anyway. I think that's the thing about hope. It's not loud, it's not bright, it's not even strong most days. It's just persistent. Hope is a whisper, a flicker. A question you keep asking even when you know there won't be an answer. But you ask anyway. You speak anyway. I don't think there's anyone left in this building. I walked the second floor again. Slow. Careful. Every office space was empty. Every desk overturned. Every chair brittle. No signs of life. Not even rats. I thought I heard someone coughing 2 days ago. Thought maybe someone was holed up in the old mailroom. But I checked. Just a pile of insulation and a few shattered mugs. That's how it goes. You chase sound, and it leads you back to silence. But I still check. Because the one time I don't, that'll be the time someone needs help. There are rumors. Well, not really rumors. Just memories I keep turning over. About a place north of here where the military set up a dome. Heated, powered, controlled climate. Some kind of last resort structure built into an old sports arena. People used to talk about it on the radio during the early days of the collapse. Some said they were headed there. Some said they saw helicopters. but I haven't heard anything in weeks, maybe months. Part of me still wants to go, but then I think, what if it's real, and they're only letting in certain people? What if I get there and they tell me I'm too late? What if the doors are frozen shut, and my last moment alive is spent staring at the walls of a place that was supposed to save me? That's the kind of thing that keeps me grounded here. Not hope, not fear, just doubt. Sometimes that's enough to keep you in one place. Sometimes that's what saves your life. I wish I had better news. I wish I could say I saw birds today, or sun, or smoke in the distance. I wish I could say the temperature rose, even by 1 degree. But I can't. What I can say is this: I'm still breathing. And if you are too, then we're not finished yet. Take that breath. Let it fog the glass. Let it rise like a flare in the dark. Let the world know you're still here. Don't give the silence the last word. This is Isaac Evans, broadcasting from what's left of Albany, New York. Still talking, still alive. It's 6:07 a.m. I nearly missed it. Slept through the first alarm. First time that's happened since this started. That little wind-up travel clock I keep near the barrel. I forgot to wind it last night. I don't know how. It's part of the ritual. Every night before I sleep, I check the wires, wind the clock, rotate the battery cache, say a few words out loud to whatever version of myself still believes in routine. But last night, I just collapsed. No ceremony, no precautions. Just laid down and let the cold wrap around me like a second skin. I woke up with my mouth open and my fingers locked together like claws. The air inside the station has changed again. It's thinner now. Drier. I think the ice outside is sealing up the building tighter and tighter, pressing in on every wall and crevice, choking off what's left of circulation. The cold doesn't even move anymore. It just sits, thick and still and full of weight. I used to think it was wind that made the cold unbearable. But this unmoving cold, it's worse. At least wind has direction. At least it makes you feel like something's passing through. This just surrounds, stays, lingers, becomes you. I tried to get the fire started earlier, but the barrel's warped. The base bowed inward overnight, probably from all the temperature shock. I used to get a decent flame with scrap paper and binder plastic. Now it just smolders. I burned the pages of a broken manual this morning. Something about broadcast tower calibration. The print was so small it made my eyes ache, but it curled up beautifully. Thick black smoke. I let it go for a few minutes before blowing it out and collecting the warmth in my hands. My knuckles are splitting open, little fissures along the joints. It hurts when I bend them, so I don't. I keep them stiff, like I'm holding invisible tools. I pretend I'm fixing something. Pretend there's still a workshop here, that this was just a bad storm and I'm waiting for it to pass so I can call up some supply guy named Bill and ask for more mic stands. Pretend. I've been pretending more. Not out loud. Just inside. Telling myself the world's still out there. That people are waking up in warm beds just beyond the edge of this snow-covered dead zone. That maybe this is just a weird, isolated nightmare, and I'm the one person left to report on it. I know that's not true. But sometimes fiction keeps your brain from breaking in half. There are things I miss that I never thought I would, like grocery store background music. Those soft, cheesy pop songs that used to play on loop while you stood under fluorescent lighting trying to decide between two different brands of cereal. I used to hate that. I'd put in earbuds to drown it out. Now I catch myself humming it. I can't remember the lyrics, Just the tune, over and over while I work. Like a heartbeat I don't want to lose. There's a radio antenna on the roof that I haven't been able to reach, not since the snow overtook the 3rd floor. I think it's still up, still vertical. If it is, it's probably the only reason this broadcast is making it anywhere. I imagine it jutting out above the frost like a grave marker. One tall, rusted metal finger pointing into the sky saying, "Someone was here." The wind picked up late last night, just for a moment, around 2:10 a.m. I heard something move outside. Not a crash, not a creak. A shuffle, like someone dragging their feet across a parking lot. I froze, sat up, turned off the barrel, listened, held my breath. Then it was gone. No follow-up, no knock, no sound at all. And you'd think by now I'd be used to that, the near sounds, the false alarms. But it still gets me, every single time. Because what if, right? What if it was someone? What if I missed the last living person in this part of the state by 30 seconds? What if they stood there, right outside the wall, hoping someone would come? What if they left thinking no one was here? I thought about opening the door, just once, just for a peek. But I didn't. Because the last time I opened that door without preparation, I nearly passed out. Cold like that doesn't warn you. It doesn't knock you out. It shuts you down. Quiet. Fast. Permanent. So I sat, and I listened, and I let them go, if they were ever really there to begin with. Sometimes survival looks like a door you don't open. I wrote another entry in the ledger today, that notebook I found wedged behind the circuit breaker panel. Been using it as a log, not just for radio stuff. Thoughts, routines, names. I started writing down all the people I could remember. Every name, first and last, that ever meant something. Neighbors, classmates, co-workers. A girl I kissed once during a thunderstorm in high school and never saw again. Every time I write one down, I say it out loud. Just once. Like calling attendance in a classroom the world forgot. They deserve that. We all do. If you're still here, listening, say someone's name today. Say it loud, even if they're gone, especially if they're gone. Say it to the walls. Say it to the silence. Let the world know they were real. The cold can't erase that. I'll be back tonight, even if the light doesn't come back, even if the wind stops pretending to whisper, even if the walls give in and I'm broadcasting from a cave of crushed concrete and wire. This voice will keep moving, because motion is survival. This is Isaac Evans, still here, still speaking, still remembering. It's 6:02 p.m. I'm shaking, not from fear, not from hunger, just cold, just pure, dumb, impossible cold. I've got every layer on, 2 shirts, a sweater, a coat, 2 scarves wrapped tight around my neck like a noose made of wool, and I'm still trembling like a leaf in a blizzard. My breath's fogging up the inside of my glasses, and I had to scrape frost off the mic before switching the transmitter on. That's how bad it is now. The ice isn't waiting at the door anymore. It's coming in. It's growing over everything like mold, like it wants to take the mic, the desk, the walls, me. I lit the fire late, burned a chunk of shelving and one of the floor tiles that cracked off under the pressure. The smoke turned dark and oily. I opened the vent just enough to breathe. It still stinks in here. The kind of burn that coats the back of your throat and makes your tongue feel heavy. But I kept it lit. That's the only rule that matters anymore. Keep the fire going. Doesn't matter what it costs. Doesn't matter if it smells like burnt glue and dead plastic. Doesn't matter if it poisons the air. Warmth first. Everything else, second. The room's quieter tonight. Not in the comforting way. In the way that makes you feel like everything just stopped. I haven't heard any structural creaks in hours. No distant groans from the snowpack pressing in on the walls. It's like the building's holding its breath, waiting to see what I do next. Maybe it's waiting to give up, but I'm not. I've been thinking a lot about that. What giving up actually means now. Back then, it was abstract. Quitting a job, not calling someone back, sleeping through an appointment. Now it's real. Now it's physical, tangible. Giving up looks like not lighting the fire, not boiling water, not checking for leaks, not scanning the frequencies, not speaking. I refuse to be that quiet. I refuse to disappear. Today, I heard something new. Just before the last of the light slipped away, if you can even call that dim blur behind the ice light anymore. I stepped close to the back wall near the breaker panel. I was listening to the pipes to make sure nothing had burst. And then I heard it. Faint. Hollow. Echoing from somewhere below. A hum. It wasn't mechanical. Not quite. It didn't sound like a generator or a motor. It was more like a note. A tone. Long. Flat. Low. It was coming from beneath the floor. Now, I don't want to jump to conclusions. The brain does weird things after this long in isolation. You start hearing patterns in static, rhythms in the wind. But this wasn't my imagination. I dropped to my knees and pressed my ear to the floor. Nothing. Then I knocked. Just once. Sharp. Quick. And I swear on what's left of me. I heard something knock back. 2 taps. Then silence. I didn't dream that. I wasn't hallucinating. I was awake. Sharp. Alert. Someone. Something is down there. I haven't had the nerve to open the trapdoor in the far corner. It used to lead to a maintenance tunnel. I always assumed it was collapsed or frozen solid by now. But what if it's not? What if there's someone down there, trapped, alive, waiting for someone to hear? Or what if they heard me? I haven't decided what to do yet. If I try to go down, I might not be able to get back up. I've got no rope. The ladder's metal and probably iced over. And if there's nothing down there, I'll have wasted warmth and strength I can't afford to lose. But I can't stop thinking about it. It's been 90-something days since this all started. 90-something days of ice, silence, smoke, and whispers. And this is the first time something has answered me. I'm scared. And I'm hopeful. It's a sick combination. Hope with no direction. Fear with no enemy. I'll sleep with the crowbar next to the cot tonight. Not because I think someone's coming. Just because it helps. A piece of metal in your hand feels like control, even if it's an illusion. We carry these little lies to keep moving. That we're safe. That we're not alone. That tomorrow might be different. And maybe it will be. Maybe I'll open the hatch tomorrow. Maybe I'll lower myself down and find a tunnel, a hallway, a door, maybe a voice. Or maybe nothing but frost and the sound of my own breathing. But even that would be more than I've had. I keep circling this question. What would it take to stop me from speaking? And every time, I come back to the same answer. Death. Not cold. Not silence. Not loneliness. Death. Until then, I talk. I keep the frequency alive. I keep this light burning, even if no one sees it. Even if the only ears listening are buried in snow. Even if I'm speaking into a grave. Because I need the world to know. This isn't over. We're still here. We're still speaking. This is Isaac Evans. Still in Albany. Still in the dark. Still alive. It's 6:03 a.m. I didn't sleep. Not even for a second. I sat upright all night in the corner beside the trapdoor, just listening. The fire burned low. I didn't feed it much, didn't want to mask the sounds. I wrapped myself in everything I had. Blankets, coats, my old station hoodie I found under the desk, and I stayed there, waiting. I didn't hear it again. The knock, I mean. Whatever that was yesterday afternoon, 2 sharp taps from beneath the floor. It hasn't repeated. No knock, no hum, no movement. Just silence again. But now the silence feels different. Charged. Like it's hiding something. Like it's watching. I haven't opened the hatch yet. I got as far as brushing the ice away, scraping the frost from the edges, clearing off the tools and broken tiles stacked on top of it. The handle's rusted, but it turns. That surprised me. I thought for sure it would be sealed by time and cold. But no. It opened. Just a crack. Just enough to feel the air rising up from beneath. It's warmer. That was the part I didn't expect. Warmth. Actual, real warmth. Not much, not enough to see, but enough that I could feel the difference on my face. Like breathing near a fire that's just gone out. Lingering heat. So something down there is generating it. Or it was. Maybe residual. Maybe something deeper in the ground held onto it longer than we could up here. Or maybe, God, maybe there's a system still running under this place. Maybe backup power. Maybe old infrastructure no one remembered to shut off. I sat with my hand on the hatch for over an hour. Could have opened it. Could have dropped down. But I didn't. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm not ready to vanish. Because if I go down there and don't come back, this voice ends. This frequency dies. And whatever I find, or don't, will stay buried with me. But also because I'm scared. Not scared of dying. That fear passed weeks ago. You let it go around day 40, once the numbness sets in, and you realize it's not death that hurts. It's waiting for it. No, I'm scared of hope. Because what if there's really something down there? A generator, a room, a voice, a person. What if there's a tunnel that leads somewhere I didn't know existed? A way out, a way through. Then everything changes. Then this broadcast isn't just a last breath into the dark. It's a message, a starting point. And that's terrifying. Because if there's still a way out, then surviving isn't enough. Then I have to choose something again. Responsibility, purpose, direction. It's easier in some ways to stay still, to keep burning scrap wood and speaking into the void, to pretend I've done my part and can rest. But if that hatch leads somewhere, I have to be ready, not just physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, if that word still means anything in this frozen version of Earth. So today, I'm preparing. I've started packing what little I have into 3 bags. 1 for fuel, batteries, fire-starting materials, anything that burns. 1 for food, 1 for tools. The radio gear stays. I'm not taking it with me. It's too big, too fragile, and someone else might need it here if they come, if they follow, if they hear this and trace the voice to its source. I've written everything down. Frequency, location, my name, the days I've been on air. I even drew a map. Crude, shaky, inaccurate. But it's something. It'll be pinned to the desk in case someone walks in after me. If I go down there, it'll be tomorrow. I'll give myself one more day of preparation. One more night of fire and familiar walls and the illusion of control. And then I go. I don't know if I'll be able to speak from down there. Don't know if there's power, signal, even space to sit. But if I can, I will. I'll find a way to bring the voice with me, even if I have to drag a cable behind me like a lifeline. I'm scared, but I'm more scared of silence, of not knowing, of letting that knock be the last mystery I never faced. So I'll face it, because that's what this has been about since day one. Not surviving, but facing, choosing to walk toward the unknown again and again, even when everything inside you begs you to stay put, stay warm, stay quiet. We were never meant to survive like this. We were meant to move, to ask, to try, and I'll try. If this is my last morning in this room, I want you, whoever's listening, to remember a few things. You are not alone. Even if the world has turned to ash and ice and silence, you are not alone. Someone else has felt the hunger, the cold, the ache in the chest that comes when you speak, and no one answers. I've felt it. I feel it now. But we're still here. We're still breathing. And if you're breathing, you're winning. Say your name out loud. Say someone else's name too. Mark the walls. Record your voice. Sing a song, even if it cracks in your throat. Light a match. Boil snow. Make noise. Because this world, as broken as it is, still responds to sound. Even if you can't hear it yet, it hears you. And so do I. This is Isaac Evans, still here, still afraid, still ready. It's 6:08 p.m. This might be the last time I speak from this chair. The fire's burning lower than I'd like, but I'm letting it, trying to conserve the last bit of fuel in case I need to come back. In case what's under the hatch is a dead end. In case it's just a pocket of warm air in a concrete tomb. I've got my bags packed. 3, like I said. 1 strapped to my back. 2 rigged with rope so I can lower them behind me. I taped up my gloves. Reinforced my boots with rubber from the chair pads. I even fashioned a harness out of radio cable, wrapped it twice around my chest and looped it through a pulley in the ceiling above the hatch. There's no ladder anymore. If there ever was, it's gone now. So, I'll descend slow, hand over hand, inches at a time. I've tested the hatch twice today, just cracked it open. The warm air's still there. Faint, but real. No sound. No more knocking. Just the kind of silence that has shape, like being underwater, like something's waiting. I've left notes everywhere. In the logbook, on the desk, on the back wall, right above the scratched message, "We were here." If someone finds this place, if they follow the broadcast, if the antenna holds out, I want them to know I didn't disappear. I went down. I went looking. I didn't freeze in place. And if I don't come back, I want this room to remain as a marker, a shrine, a record, proof that someone survived longer than they were supposed to. I'm scared. That hasn't changed. But it's not panic. It's not chaos. It's a cold, steady kind of fear. Like walking into a forest at night with a match and nothing else. You don't run. You don't scream. You just keep walking, because stopping is worse. I've been here for 97 days. That's how long it's been since the world collapsed into white, since the heat left, since the broadcasts went quiet, since the sky gave up. And in all that time, I never stopped speaking, not once. I want that to mean something. Even if no one hears it, even if this is just a whisper at the edge of the end. I checked the backup mic. I've got a portable transmitter tucked into my chest pack. Low range, short battery life, but it works. I'll try to patch in once I reach the bottom. If there's a bottom. If it's not just a shaft full of snow and death. But before I go, I want to leave something behind. Something real. Something true. This is what I remember. I remember my sister's laugh. The way it used to burst out of her without warning, like her whole body couldn't hold it in. I remember my mother's hands. Always moving. Folding, cleaning, fixing, smoothing hair behind ears. I remember the way hot pavement smelled after rain. I remember the hum of the fridge at night. I remember sitting on the fire escape with a blanket and a cup of tea, just watching the city breathe. I remember color. So much color. And I remember sound. The kind that filled rooms. The kind that made you feel here. I want to believe it's not gone forever. I want to believe there's a place where this frost doesn't reach, where the sky still shifts and birds still fight over crusts of bread on park benches, where someone still lights candles for reasons other than survival. I don't need to find paradise. I just need to know there's still somewhere, even if it's just one floor below. So I'm going now. I've wrapped the mic cord once around the chair, tied a knot in the drawer handle. If someone finds it loose, they'll know I made the descent. If I don't return, keep speaking. If you hear this and you're alive, keep the frequency warm. Even if you don't have a signal, even if you're speaking into a cracked walkie-talkie or a child's toy radio, speak. Fill the dark with sound. Fill the silence with names. That's how we survive now. Not with fire, not with food, but with noise, with memory, with voice. This is Isaac Evans, heading down, still here. It's hard to know what time it is. The clock I brought stopped ticking 2 hours ago. The battery was too weak. The cold must have snapped it. My best guess? A little past 6 a.m. I made the descent sometime after midnight. It took longer than I thought. Not because of the climb itself, but because I had to stop. More than once. I didn't expect it to go down that far. It wasn't a basement. It wasn't a utility crawl. It was a shaft. Narrow at first, then wider. Too dark to see the bottom, even with the headlamp on. The rope held. My arms nearly gave out near the end, but I made it. One hand at a time. The walls slick with frost and rust. The air got warmer the lower I went. Not comfortable, just less cruel. Enough to make me sweat through the first 2 layers. My skin was wet by the time my boots hit the ground. And when I landed, it wasn't ice. It was concrete. Warm, dry, dust-covered concrete. I sat there for 5 minutes, maybe 10, just breathing, just waiting to see if the world would collapse. It didn't. No movement, no sound, just air. Air with weight. Air that moved slightly when I moved. I haven't felt that in weeks. Like being underwater and suddenly remembering you can swim. This place, it's not what I expected. It's a tunnel. Long, straight, reinforced walls, Lights overhead, dark and dead, but still intact. Dust covers everything. No snow, no mold, no corrosion. Just dust and silence. Not the cold kind. Not the suffocating kind I've been living in. A different silence. Neutral. Patient. I followed it. Not far. Maybe 30, 40 yards. There's a door on the right. Thick. Steel. Unmarked. No lock. It opened when I pushed. Inside, a room, square, empty. Concrete walls, metal shelves, a single desk bolted to the floor. On that desk, a small radio unit. Dead. Covered in cloth like someone had left it waiting. And a notebook. I'll get to that in a second. First, the power. There's a socket. I plugged in my emergency pack. The unit blinked. Weak red light, barely there, but enough to confirm it works. If I can route signal from here, if I can boost the output, I might be able to speak more than a few feet, maybe a block, maybe a mile. I don't know yet, but I'm trying. And now, the notebook. It's handwritten, pages stiff, ink faded, but readable. No name, just entries, short, sharp, like whoever wrote them was in a hurry or didn't want to waste light. The earliest one is dated roughly 8 weeks before the freeze reached Albany, and it says this: Unit 12 activated. Tunnel system functional. Civilian intake expected in 14 days. I read that 3 times. Civilian intake. This wasn't just a utility tunnel. This was part of a shelter network. Government? Military? Doesn't say. But it's not hard to guess. Emergency tunnels beneath key broadcast buildings. Hidden. Powered. Stocked. Meant for after. But no one came. No one used it. Why? Later entries get worse. Intake postponed. Weather models off by 2 weeks. System cannot compensate for northern collapse. Then, received orders to seal surface hatch. Too risky. Ice compression detected. No retrieval expected. And the last one. Going down further. If this log is found, Unit 12 failed. Proceed south to 14 or 17. Do not wait for rescue. Broadcast until you can't. That one hit me hardest. Broadcast until you can't. That's what I've been doing. Without knowing. Without orders. Without a plan. Just instinct. I sat in that chair for I don't know how long, reading that page over and over, tracing the pen strokes like they were fingerprints. Someone else was here. Long before me. Someone tried. Someone sent a signal. Someone waited. And then they went deeper. There's another door at the back of the room. Smaller. Locked. No keypad. Just a latch and a long, rusted bar that won't budge without tools. I don't know what's behind it. I don't even know if it opens. But if they went that way, maybe I will too. Not yet. Not tonight. I'm too tired. Too strung out. My body's still shaking from the climb, and my fingers keep cramping. I need food. Water. I've got both, but only a little. Enough to stay sharp. Enough to breathe and think and plan. I've set up the mic next to the desk. The room echoes more than the station above. You can probably hear it in my voice. A kind of depth. A kind of closeness. It feels like someone's listening. Not from above. From inside the walls. I'm not imagining it. I know the difference now. Between fear and instinct. There's something else down here. Whether it's a person or a place or a machine still breathing underground. I don't know. But I'm closer to it now than I've ever been. And I'll keep moving. Because this voice isn't done. Not while there are cables to connect. Not while there's one working transmitter. Not while my lungs still remember how to shape words. If this is the next chapter of the broadcast, then let it begin here, in the dark, in the dust, in the place the world forgot. This is Isaac Evans, somewhere beneath Albany, still speaking, still moving, still alive. It's 6:01 p.m., I think. I slept for the first time in days, deep, dreamless, not out of peace, out of collapse. The warmth down here, it tricked me. I let my guard down, curled into the corner beside the desk, used my coat as a pillow. No fire needed. The air here is stale but not cold, and that's dangerous. You get used to suffering. It becomes the rhythm. You build your day around it, ration your strength against it. When it's gone, even for a moment, you feel like you've died, like the body's given up and moved on. But I woke up, still here, still hungry, still hoarse. My voice sounds different in this room. I keep noticing it. Everything I say bounces back with the faintest echo, like I'm not alone, like someone's repeating every word just a breath behind me. It's not loud, just enough to make me pause. I haven't opened the second door yet, the locked one. The bar across it is fused with rust. I've been tapping it with the wrench, trying to loosen it without snapping it off. If it breaks, I might be trapped. If it doesn't move, I'm trapped anyway. So I'm working slow, patient, strategic. The real discovery today wasn't in the tunnel. It was in the notebook. Hidden in the back cover, folded between pages, was a thin slip of thermal paper, the kind old receipt printers used. Barely legible, but I made out coordinates, a date, and one line of text. Unit 17 confirmed active. Evac 8:40 a.m. South route. No year, no other details. Just that. Evacuation. A time. A direction. A name. Unit 17. I don't know where it is, but the direction matches what I vaguely remember about the emergency grid. The old documents we used to file back when the station still got federal disaster drills. There were zones marked for broadcast sheltering, backup command locations. I never paid attention. No one did. We thought we were immune. Now I'm sitting in the ruins of what was meant to survive the end. And someone else was here before me. Someone who tried to leave. Someone who knew where to go. If this Unit 17 is real, it might be the last link in a broken chain. And if they evacuated, maybe they made it. I've drawn a crude map from memory, based on the layout of the streets above, the direction this tunnel runs, and what I can feel when I walk through it. The floor slopes slightly, down and south, always south. There's no power source visible, no hum. But the warmth? It's not natural, not geothermal, too even, too deliberate, which means something's still running, somewhere deeper. I think that's what scares me most. Not that this place is abandoned, but that it's not. That something was left behind. Something waiting. I've heard noises again. Not from the locked door, further down. I followed the tunnel for a few more yards earlier, found a service panel halfway embedded in the wall, opened it. Inside, old wires, fuse boxes, labels half erased by heat and age. But behind that, a draft, a pulse of air like breath, like the system is alive. I shut it. I didn't want to keep going yet, because every step down here feels like stepping deeper into someone else's thoughts. This isn't just a shelter. It's a decision someone made long ago. To hide something. To prepare for something. to expect something. And we were never told. The notebook mentions overhead compromise. That's the exact phrase. Written 3 times. Once underlined. I don't know what that means. Collapse? Weather breach? Sabotage? Or something worse? There's a line I keep circling in the margin. Not dated, just scrawled, like an afterthought. They sealed it for a reason. I keep reading that over and over. Was it the surface they sealed? Or this? What if the hatch wasn't keeping the cold out? What if it was keeping something in? I know how that sounds. I know the logic breaks. But logic's gone quiet lately. And when your whole world turns to frost and silence, your thoughts grow wild. Roots spread into old fears, and every echo starts to sound like footsteps. I haven't made contact with anyone. The handheld scanner caught one pulse around 4 a.m., 3 quick tones on 92.7. But I couldn't triangulate. It was gone before I could lock it. I'll try again tonight. If anyone's out there, anyone still transmitting, please stay on the air. Even if it's just a tone, even if you're not sure it's reaching. We need each other's voices, even if we don't know what they're saying. I'll try to crack the door tomorrow. I need rest, strength, time. If it's fused completely, I'll need to find a way to break it without alerting whatever might be listening beyond it. And yes, I said whatever, not whoever. Because down here, I've started to believe it might not be people on the other side. Maybe it's something that waited in the dark longer than we've been alive. Maybe it's what the cold came from. Or maybe it's nothing. Just a hallway. Just a room. Just an empty concrete sarcophagus built for a future that never came. We'll see. But until then, I'll be here. Still speaking. Still warm for now. Still trying to remember what hope feels like. This is Isaac Evans. Beneath Albany. 1 floor deeper. Still human.